Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So it was just recently reported that the WBO has ordered a title match between Gary Russell Jr. and Mr. Lomachenko. Now, before I get deeper into this whole subject, let's go ahead and talk about the positive aspects of this proposition. Now, the one good thing about this, of course, is this is a great fight. This is a great matchup. I would love to see this fight. I mean, this is an opportunity for Gary Russell's long-awaited title bout for him to step up. I mean, you've had a lot of certain fans that have been criticizing Gary Russell Jr. for not stepping up fast enough. But coincidentally, this is exactly the same type of criticism that Demetrius Andrade received and Andre Ward, and we've seen how they turned out. Now, Andre Ward is pound for pound number 2, one of the best fighters in the world, and Demetrius Andrade has established himself as top 2, top 3, one of the best junior middleweights in the world. So this would be a positive step in the right direction for Gary Russell Jr. Now, the bad news, or the negative side to this whole situation, is for the sport of boxing to allow a guy to just barely turn pro. After his first fight, he gets a title shot. He loses that fight, and then they say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and give you another shot right away. Okay? That means he's bypassing all the other people that have been ranked for probably months or years, all right? And he's going to bypass all of them, and he's going to get a second title shot when he didn't even deserve the first title shot. Now, on top of all of this, you have all of these ignorant-ass casual fans that will sit over here and will tell you that Gary Russell didn't deserve to fight for a title against Johnny Gonzalez. So-and-so doesn't deserve to fight this guy. This person doesn't deserve to fight that guy, right? Whatever is convenient to protect the fighters that they like, you'll hear them say, this guy doesn't deserve to fight for the title. But all of a sudden, when you have a guy with less than 2 fights, Loma, who's getting back-to-back title fights after he just lost a fight, the same people who were sending these messages, they're basically nowhere to be found when it comes to this situation with Lomachenko. You see, the problem with them doing this is this makes a mockery out of the sport of boxing. I mean, there's no reason to have rankings and sanctioning bodies if you're going to allow shit like this to happen. This is the reason, or one of the reasons, why the sport of boxing does not get the type of respect that a sport like football, basketball, baseball, etc., those sports get. All right? We're not even close to getting that type of respect from fans in general. And it's because of this WWE type of mentality. Just allowing people to turn pro, fight for a title. And not only that, but of course it exposes the hypocrisy in the sport of boxing. Shit that was happening 100 years ago is happening today, if you really think about it. Like I said, look at how Bob Arum and HBO is treating Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? The guy who's doing everything that he's actually supposed to do. Keep winning. Beating guys in the pound-for-pound list. Top 5. Nonito Donaire, right? And is willing to fight anybody. Now he's a champion. He's knocked out the majority of his opponents. But yet they're trying to kick him off the HBO network. Old Bobby is constantly trying to sabotage Guillermo Rigo's career. I mean, it is just ridiculous when you really sit down and think about what's going on today. And like I said, while all of this is going on, Rigo continues to win. He continues to ascend when it comes to his career. Meanwhile, they're trying to replace Guillermo Rigo with a new hope, which would be someone that they actually like, which we know what time it is, and that's Lomachenko. I mean, guys, just think about this real quick. Let's just play trading places for a second. Imagine if it was Loma that was in Rigo's shoes right now, and Loma had 11 fights and went in there and beat Donaire decisively, threw more punches than he did, landed more punches than he did, moved around the ring like Lomachenko does, because Loman does move around the ring. He ties you up every now and then. Imagine if he did all of these things. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's go even further. Let's exaggerate it. Imagine if Lomachenko went in there, he blew out Donaire, but he made it a stink fest. I mean, it was boring. He tied up, he ran, he held, he did whatever you guys want to call it, but he won the fight decisively. Do you guys know how much he would be praised right now? Do you guys know that they would be calling him the second coming of Jack Dempsey or some crazy shit like that? I mean, you know, I'm exaggerating, but you guys understand the point that I'm making, right? If you put him in them same shoes, he would have been praised. He would not have been cursed by HBO and Bob Arum. They would have been telling you guys, I told you this man was great. I told you this and that. All right? I mean, imagine if it was Rigo that fought for a title in his second fight and lost. People would be saying he's garbage. People would be like, I told you he was garbage. I told you he was this and he was that. If Bob Arum treated Rigo like shit after he won his biggest fight against a pound-for-pound champion, imagine how old Bobby would have treated Rigo after a loss. Ain't that a damn shame? I'm telling you, man, the sport of boxing right now, with people like Bob Arum and HBO's Jim Lampley, you know, they just messing up the sport, man. For those of you guys who don't know this, Bob Arum, years back, way back when he was promoting George Foreman, he actually got busted, or I should say he got caught trying to bribe one of the, I don't remember if it was a WBO, WBC, but one of those organizations. He got busted paying off one of those organizations so that his fighter, George Foreman, could fight a lesser opponent in Axel Schultz. All right? That fight back then was basically equivalent to one of the big name champions today, you know, avoiding all of the top-notch opponents in his division just to fight some guy who doesn't deserve a title shot. Okay? That's basically what Bob Arum was able to do with George Foreman. And Bob Arum, he got caught. He got caught. You know, he had to come out with a statement basically apologizing. So the point that I'm making is, when you look at all of this fishy shit that's going on today, like, you know, Lomachenko getting 2 title shots back to back, you can't help but to think that old Bobby is the brains of the operation, right? Like I said before, man, the WBO and Bob Arum, they're just showing everyone that all these, like I said, rankings, it's just all fake. It doesn't mean anything. They could change the rules whenever they feel like it. And they're doing a serious audible right now when it comes to Lomachenko. Letting this man do whatever the hell he wants to while treating Guillermo Rigo like he's the one coming off of defeats. I mean, is it crazy or what? So anyway, man, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the small negotiations. I don't even know if I can call it really negotiations. But basically, from what I hear, Lomachenko, he said that he is open, he's on board, and he's willing to fight against Gary Russell for the title. Al Heyman basically said that he's going to talk to Gary Russell. It was reported that even Gary Russell was saying that this doesn't make sense. It makes a mockery of the sport that this guy is getting a title shot over people who have been waiting in line to fight for the title. Like I said, it's no different than a person been all the way at the back of the line and just cutting all the way up to the front of the line when people been waiting in the damn line for 3 hours like you at Magic Mountain or something. So in other words, Gary Russell, he doesn't believe that Lomachenko deserves a title, but no one does. At the same time, Gary Russell, he needs to take this fight, though. I mean, we may all agree, at least people with common sense may all agree that Loma doesn't deserve this title. But like I said, once again, at the same time, Gary Russell, he needs to take this title shot. All right? If Gary Russell doesn't take this fight and turns it down, then Gary Russell is ducking this fight, and there's nothing else to it. Okay? So that's what it is, man. That's pretty much all I got on this one. I'm going to keep following this story, and I'm on to the next one, guys.